going on, ladies and gents? Welcome back to another video. It is your boy J-Narc, and as you guys saw from the video title, these are our predictions for NFL Super Wild Card Weekend. First team or first matchup we got up is the Browns and the Texans. So now I know that Joe Flacco has kind of revived his career a little bit with the Browns, and that connection between him and Amari Cooper is like one of the top connections in the playoffs, honestly. But I'm feeling that with CJ Stroud and the Texans, that like things might change. Things might change because CJ Stroud has been pretty phenomenal this season, and that connection with him and Nico Collins has been one of the top connections we've seen throughout the season. And I know that the Browns defense is pretty tough, like Myles Garrett, Defensive Player of the Year candidate, but I don't know, they're home in NRG Stadium, and you know, DeMeco Ryans has his team hyped up. I mean, they just won a great game, you know, to win the division. So you know, I'm going to have to go with the Texans on this one. Yeah, Texans will take the Browns and move on to the divisional. Bro, and then now we got the Dolphins and the Chiefs. So I know Miami, they had the chance to win the AFC East. They were cruising throughout the season, but yeah, they just kind of folded. I know Miami Dolphin fans are kind of tight about that. But nonetheless, they still have Tyreek Hill, one of the most explosive, if not the best receiver in the league this season. And that makes this team pretty like scary to go against. And they're facing the Kansas City Chiefs. I know that they pretty much have been having a roller coaster of a season, but the Chiefs are still the Chiefs, and I do have faith in them. But I don't know, the Dolphins offense is super explosive. Even though the Chiefs have a really good pass defense, especially led by this guy, Chris Jones, I'm going to have to go with the Chiefs on taking this victory and moving on to the divisional. Now we have the Steelers versus the Bills. Mason Rudolph has stepped in as QB1 for the Steelers as they've been just going through, oh my gosh, George Pickens just off of it. I forgot about that. But he's just stepped in, you know, Kenny Pickett with an injury and then being benched. And then Trubisky had his opportunity being starter and he got benched. But Mason Rudolph has been the game manager that they've been looking for, that they've had on the roster the whole time. And they're facing against, and Josh Allen is having a stellar year. The Bills have come back and took the division. And I'm thinking that, you know, and their defense is pretty good too. If the offense is clicking, defense is clicking, then I don't really see how Mason Rudolph and company can do anything. But props to Mike Tomlin for having another positive season and making the playoffs with what he has. But I got Josh Allen and the Bills just ruining their playoff hopes, their Super Bowl hopes. Now we got my squad, the Green Bay Packers, who are going up against the Dallas Cowboys. Jordan Love has had a phenomenal season. He finished second in the league in passing touchdowns. I think he had over 4,000 passing yards and led the Packers to the playoffs at going 9-8. And they're facing the Dallas Cowboys. CeeDee Lamb has been pretty explosive for this Cowboys team. And the Cowboys obviously won the NFC East and their second seed in the conference. So it's going to be a tough matchup, especially if Jair, who actually recently picked up an injury, as CeeDee Lamb has been just torching defenders. So it's going to be a tough matchup. But because of the promise that this Packers team has, just the youngest NFL team in history to make the playoffs with an average age of 25, I think that we might shock, you know, Jerry's world, you know? So I got the Packers taking this one in a close one, though, and moving on to the divisional round. Now, the Rams versus Lions, one of the probably most anticipated matchups with Jared Goff facing off against his old team, the Rams, while even though Carson Wentz is right there, and Matt Stafford facing off against his old team, the Lions, who haven't had a home playoff game in over 30 years. And it's going to be a very tough matchup. It was tough deciding on who I think I'll probably go with as winning. But with Jared Goff, you know, in this Detroit offense that's pretty explosive, their defense is a little bit sus, so I don't know. This thing could really go up in the air. Like, it could literally be anyone's ball game, but it's going to be a tight one. But I'm going to go with Matt Stafford and the Rams because Matt Stafford has that veteran presence, and so does Jared Goff. But I don't know, something about that Rams team. It's a gritty team, and I think they're going to be able to shock the world and move on to the next round. Now, with the last squad, the last playoff matchup is the Eagles-Buccaneers. Eagles have been on one of the worst skids we've ever seen when they started off 10-1 and then went 1-5 in their remaining games. And it's not looking pretty good for the Eagles as they face the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Baker Mayfield, who should arguably win Comeback Player of the Year, has helped the Buccaneers, go 9-8, win the division, and host a playoff game in Tampa Bay against the Eagles. Even though the Eagles are on a skid, when the Eagles on paper should beat this Buccaneers team, I don't know. There's something about a gritty Baker Mayfield back in the playoffs to be able to, and with Mike Evans in this great organization, you know, I'm going to have to take the Buccaneers on just ending the Eagles season and making the Eagles have to go into, you know, rehabilitation on what went wrong. And so this, depending on how the games go, I'll have my own predictions set on the score predictions, but I don't have it. I don't have it right now, so we're gonna have to see if I see that my predictions are close that I write down for this upcoming weekend. Then I'll do predictions, like actual score predictions, in the next video, but for next week's divisional matchups. But those are my picks. Let me know if you guys agree with some of them. If not, let me know. And remember, ladies and gents, you gotta be a fiend to succeed. Peace.